Support comes from Soaring Heart Natural Beds, where concern for the health and safety of sleep now extends to everything from curbside pickup and delivery to secure in-store appointments. Showrooms in Seattle, Bellevue, and now in Edmonds, or online at soaringheart.com.
Hey, it's Patricia Murphy. It's Tuesday. This is Seattle Now. We've rounded the corner on year one of the pandemic. The good news is the CDC says if you're vaccinated, you can hang out without masks. The not so good news, vaccines are still pretty hard to come by. In a minute, we'll check in about where things are headed with University of Washington epidemiologist Judith Malmgren. But first, let's get you caught up. First Lady Jill Biden is in Western Washington today, part of a West Coast tour of military bases. She'll meet with families at Joint Base Lewis McChord and Naval Air Station Whidbey Island. She heads to California to visit with Marines on Wednesday. Biden plans to relaunch her Joining Forces program to help military families later this year. She started that with former First Lady Michelle Obama a decade ago. Seattle-based Brown Paper Tickets will refund $9 million to event organizers and ticket buyers whose plans got canceled by COVID. Attorney General Bob Ferguson, who took the company to court, says 45,000 people across the country are owed a refund. If that's you, you don't have to do anything to get your money. The AG's office says the company will be getting in touch to pay you back. And some grocery workers in King County might also be getting a pandemic hazard pay bump. The county council votes today on whether workers in parts of unincorporated King County should get the $4 an hour boost like grocery workers in Seattle just did. The extra pay will only last as long as the county's COVID-19 emergency order is in effect. We're a year into the pandemic. More than 1 million people have been vaccinated in Washington, and new cases of COVID are even going down. We can take some comfort in that, but not too much, because we're far from where we need to be, and complacency can't be part of the mix. So where are we in this thing? It is time to talk to UW epidemiologist Dr. Judith Malmgren. Judith, really good to talk to you.
Well, it's lovely to be here, Patricia.
So tell me the landscape right now. The message I'm getting is optimistic but guarded.
Well, it is guarded. I mean, it's the same thing we were at. If you'll recall our conversations in the past, you were really like thinking, 50 per 100,000, that's great. And then it just went kaboom. We still have the same distribution of cases in young people and young adults, in kids and young adults. That hasn't changed. The numbers are coming down. That's nice. People are getting vaccinated. That's nice. But it could be a year before we don't wear masks anymore. So I'm not in a euphoric state.
Governor Inslee opened up vaccines to more people like teachers and childcare workers, but it is still really hard to get an appointment. How are we doing on the vaccines in your assessment?
Well, I know there's going to be more in the future. I know it is a mess right now, and that's being polite, and I'm being like PC by saying it's a mess. It's just so hard for so many people. I'm helping people if I get, for example, a email at 3 a.m. from UW Medicine that they have appointments available that you have to call by phone. I call my friend who hasn't been vaccinated yet early in the morning because I know she gets up early, and I say, call this number right now and get on the list. She got on, her brother didn't. If you're already in a system like with Polyclinic or Kaiser or UW Medicine, and if you're online, then that should technically be easier. However, I have friends that are getting vaccinated through making calls to the grocery store or to Costco or Safeway in Port Orchard, it's just so random. It's beyond.
Yeah, very, very difficult and anxiety inducing. If you really want to get this vaccine, it's not that easy right now to get it. And these variants are mixing things up just a bit.
Well, the variants, I'm less concerned about the variants than I am about people getting vaccinated. I mean, we're getting news reports. We're not getting health department reports. So Brazil, who knows how bad it technically is once we get it here. I mean, it has more spikes. It has more virulence. It has a higher viral load. What could happen is some of these newer variants we'll have less asymptomatic cases. So that's bad, but it's also kind of good because those asymptomatic cases are what really got us.
I keep hearing a lot, Judith, about the potential for a fourth wave. How should I be thinking about this?
We're always at the potential for a fourth wave. However, I think one of the best things now is that we have our frontline responders, first responders, vaccinated. So that's a really good thing. And then they vaccinated the nursing home, so that's going to bring the death rate down. And then 65 and older, pretty much getting their vaccines as quickly as possible. Because what we're doing now is we're vaccinating against morbidity and mortality. We're not vaccinating against spread. We won't be vaccinating against spread till probably May and June when young people will be vaccinated.
Right. And I read that the CDC says fully vaccinated people can gather now without masks. And this worries me just a little bit because I hope it doesn't cue unvaccinated people to join into that mix. That's what I'm really worried about.
That's stupid. They're a problem and a menace to society as it is. If you think vaccinated people can get together without masks on, then you can too. If you're unvaccinated, then I got no answers.
I could definitely see it playing out that way, though, Judith. And I wonder because someone I know who was vaccinated was told by her nurse not to lose her proof of vaccination because it was going to become a very, very important part of her life. And now I'm hearing about vaccine passports.
Yeah. Well, they have vaccine passports. They actually have a green band that you wear in Israel. And so they've opened things up in Israel to people who have vaccines and have been fully vaccinated because they cut a deal with Pfizer and then got the whole nation vaccinated in exchange for giving all the data to Pfizer to look at. But in Israel, there's 4 different choices for medical coverage. Everybody is covered, and they have ways to access every single person by phone or, text or whatever.
Do you think that we're going to be in a society at some point where we're going to have to show that we've been vaccinated against COVID to do more than just, now we have to vaccinate kids to go into schools?
Yeah, absolutely. Kids have to show proof of vaccination to go to school. Always have. That's been in the books and on the books for a long time. It's not a big deal. And here's my theory is, as more and more people get vaccinated and those people get to do more stuff, all of a sudden, and it's already showing this, all of a sudden the people who don't want to get vaccinated, those numbers are going down. Because when you see something and you go, oh, okay, if I'm wearing a mask, I don't have to worry that I'm going to get sick. Because believe me, that's in the back of everybody's mind, no matter what they say. Like, I'm not afraid of getting sick, blah, blah, blah. I can do anything. I'm, as powerful as anybody. But in the back of everybody's mind, there's a fear of COVID and getting sick.
Judith, we're doing a little thing on our show called Pandemic Confessions.
Oh.
Because at this point, we are all guilty of some indulgence or skirting of the rules. You got a bad pandemic behavior to confess. It can be an indulgence as well.
Watching bad TV. And we do it on purpose.
The bar is pretty low for entertainment these days.
Yeah, it is. And it's more like, how relaxing is it to watch the Great British Baking Show?
Love it.
Very relaxing. Do I need anything that's stimulating or going to get my brain going? No, I want the absence. I want dulled brain activity. I want to be as dumb as humanly possible so I can go to sleep easier.
UW epidemiologist Dr. Judith Malmgren. Really good to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia.
All right, definitely hearing a lot about bad television on our pandemic confessional hotline. I get it. There's a lot of bad TV, but I am guessing a lot of you could top that. You just have to trust us. Look, we're giving you anonymity. Got any pandemic bad behavior to confess? Give it to us. This is your chance to go big, people. No names. Just get it off your chest. You'll be glad you did. The number to call is in the show notes. Seattle Now is produced by Caroline Chamberlain Gomez, Clare McGrane, and Jason Pagano. Matt Jorgensen does our music. I'm Patricia Murphy. See you tomorrow.